Some of you have been messaging me on social media about taking off your wedding ring. Now, this is surprisingly quite a big deal for a lot of people when you're going through a divorce. And I know it was for me. I was the person that put my wedding ring on during the marriage ceremony at the wedding and never took it off again. Now, I have plenty of friends and clients who take their wedding ring on and off, and maybe that isn't so unusual for them to be out and about without it. But there are a lot of people as well who never take it off. But also it symbolises that commitment, that forever. And it's something that, you know, obviously means a lot. You chose it together maybe, it was something that means a lot to you as part of your daily routine as well. You weren't used to going out and about without it very often, even if you did take it off. So I think a lot of us underestimate or don't even think about that taking your wedding ring off is actually going to be quite a major deal. So it's quite a surprise. And also the other thing nobody tells you about is that it leaves you a massive dent on your finger for sometimes months and months and months, if not longer. So even if you've taken the wedding ring off, there's a dent, which kind of symbolically can represent that gap, that hole, that change in your life. So how do you deal with this? Because it can take you by surprise. It can be very difficult to get used to. And I know some of you said, looking down on my hand, it looks really bare. And I find that really difficult because it's a constant reminder of, the divorce and breaking up and all the pain. So what do I suggest? Well, for me, when I took my wedding ring off, I found exactly this. And I was interviewed in The Guardian about 5 years ago, I think it was, about this exact thing, because taking your wedding ring off, no one tells you about the impact that's going to have on your life. So that dent on your finger is a difficult thing sometimes to emotionally cope with. But don't worry, that's totally normal. And lots of us go through that. So as always, how do you take your control back and how do you make it better for you? How do you cope? How do you turn this into a positive? So what I did was when I realised that this was having this emotional effect on me, I asked myself a better question. So what can I do right now to help me feel a bit better about this? And what I decided to do was go and find another ring that I could wear on this hand, but I wear it on my middle finger, not on my wedding finger, but it's something else, something new that represents my new life. So I call this my freedom ring. And so I went and I did some research. I made it a little project to make it fun. And I went out and had a look at different opportunities, different options that I could have. And I found this ring and I thought, wow, that's what I'm going to have. And that's going to be a positive, inspiring thing for me. So when I look at that, my freedom ring, I think about all the opportunities that are out there for me now in this new phase of my life. So it works wonders, I promise you. And plus, a lot of you have commented on my ring in some of my pictures. My recent one yesterday on Instagram, people said, oh, I love your ring. And so choose something that you like. And it might be an old ring you've had for a while that you don't wear very often that you love. Or it could be something from a family member, or it could be something new. It doesn't have to be expensive, but just something that you absolutely love to swap your focus. So for those of you that watch my videos, you'll know it's very much about taking control of what's going on in your brain and shifting your focus so that you're focusing on something that's moving you forward rather than stuck in those hamster wheel questions of, oh, why is there a dent? Why? This is sad. Why did this happen? My life's over. All those negative, disempowering thoughts and questions. So we're shifting it to take your control back, to go out and find something that actually adds a bit of sparkle into your life again. It's all about taking small steps, because those small steps stack up. And they're easy to do, which means when you're going through massive overwhelm, as of course you are during a breakup, you also know that you're working in the right direction. You're taking one step every day towards creating this new future for yourself. And by creating a different focus on your hand, so it's a different ring, it's on maybe a different finger. You could wear it on the same finger if you wanted to. But for me, I found the ring and this was the best, that looked better on that finger. That's why. So I chose it. It worked. But trust your instinct again. Don't overthink it. Don't think too much about it. But take control of the situation. Shift your focus by getting something else and wearing something else. And by giving it an empowering name like your freedom ring or your, next chapter ring or, excitement ring or happiness ring or whatever it is to you that means something, then that will help you every day when you look down at your hand. And actually it gives you something else to focus on. So you've still got something else to wear every day, to put on to make you feel good, but it's not taking you backwards. It's actually taking control and helping you move forwards. So I hope that helped. That's my top tips about wedding rings, taking them off. And obviously, you know, someone else asked me, while I remember, someone else asked me, when is the right time to take my wedding ring off? She said that her ex had taken his wedding ring off, but she hadn't felt ready to. So the truth is, when you feel ready, you know, but don't hold on to the past. Don't hold on to the past because you're scared of the future. Maybe start this project, think, okay, if I'm going to take it off, that's going to be difficult, but I'm going to need something to swap it with. Because quite often, and as your coach, what I would recommend absolutely is if you're going to stop doing something, so if there's a negative pattern that you're running or a behaviour that you do over and over again, for example, maybe there's a negative question like, what's wrong with me, that you ask. If I say to you, just stop doing it, then there's a gap, there's a hole. So you're trained to go back and do that again. What I'd like you to do is to replace it with something new. So if you're going to stop doing something, then replace it with something more empowering. So you've always got to fill that gap. So for example, if you're going to take your wedding ring off and you're nervous about it, maybe start this project of going to find a great other option, another ring, so that you can put that on when you take your wedding ring off. So that you do it in your own time when you're ready, not determined by anyone else, but that it's not you holding back out of fear. It's just you're doing it at the right time for you that works. So don't be afraid to let go and move on, because life starts after divorce. You've got a whole new chapter to get stuck into. And the idea of creating that bright, compelling future for you to move forward is super essential at this point. So small steps, work at your own speed, but don't get held up on things. If you're worried about taking it off, replace it with something else that makes you smile, so that you've got something to look down on and actually make you feel good. Okay, I hope that helps. Mwah. Big hugs. Bye.